Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to RAMP Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. Remember, always pray going out, pray coming in. And always remember, God is always in control. We got a packed show lineup for you tonight. It's a late show, and we're here for you. We're always here with you. This is RAMP Promotions. And I'm telling you, we're going to be talking about a major, historic, maybe deadly, catastrophic windstorm that is headed this way in the United States over this coming weekend. You want to stay tuned for that. It's a big deal. We're going to be talking about U.S. immigration cautions. U.S. immigration, they're cautioning everybody from citizens all the way down to immigrants. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for that. We're going to be talking about the Jamaica has some countries that you can go to visa-free. We're going to be talking about that. That's a beautiful thing. We're going to be talking about Master Griffiths. I want to stay tuned for that. Peter Clayton and Kishan Thompson. You're going to be hearing more about that. We're going to be talking about some, people that we lost in the Jamaican fraternity. A police constable charged for murder. And also the former Alcott hourly workers who were disenfranchised from their pensions. We're going to be talking about that. Jack Sauer Awards is loading. Also, we're going to be talking about some big events here in the United States and in England. That's Jamaican parties and some locations in South Central Jamaica that you must visit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to RAMP Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. I'm telling you, it's a big deal. Welcome. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell. This is how you keep this family-friendly show alive, ladies and gentlemen. And as we move into our show, the first thing we want to do is to say a word of prayer and give some inspiration. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's dive in. It's a beautiful thing.
Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for your continued blessings and grace. Father, help me to trust you more. Help me to trust your plan for my life. Lord, help me to stop worrying about what may or may not happen with the future, because I know it is in your hands. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, ladies and gentlemen. Amen. Amen. I'm telling you, we need that. So let's move into some inspiration quickly, and then we're going to move into the meat of the matter. Inspiration is needed, especially in this time. And NARAMP will always give you that inspiration. Are you ready? Here we go. We're going to dive into the inspiration, and then we're going to move into the meat of the matter. The show is loaded. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
It's beautiful. A simple life. In a world obsessed with more money, more likes, more everything, it's easy to forget the beauty of less. A simple life doesn't mean settling. It means being free. Free from the endless chase, free from comparing, free from the weight of always wanting what someone else has. The truth is, the more you own, the more it owns you. The weight of wanting more, it steals your peace, bit by bit, day by day. I've seen it. Hear these words now. Don't let the noise of this world drown out the beauty of a simple life.
And that's a lesson to each and every one of us. Less is always more, depending on which angle you look at it. But just remember to be humble. We can't have everything, and we cannot earn everything. So just be humble. This life is packed with a lot of ups and downs, and we're going to dive in here into the storm a historic storm. Historic, ladies and gentlemen. This is major. You know what I mean? But before I dive into that, you know, I gotta give you the anthem. So here we go. Let's share that with you, and then we'll dive in. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the RAMP Promotions anthem? Are you ready? I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing.
I don't care if they talk shit. I don't talk to hypocrites. If you hate me, that's just fine. Go on down and get in line. They try to tell me what I need, and it sure ain't nothing good for me. Don't care what they say, it's all just talk. Gonna head my way and walk my walk. They try to bend me, but I won't break. I pay no mind to the noise they make. I keep my head, I hold my ground. Ain't no man gonna knock me down. They can swing, but I won't flinch. I was built for times like this. So talk your shit, but be aware. I don't care.
Goodness gracious me. Welcome back to RAMP Promotions, the real deal podcast show. I'm telling you, it's loaded, ladies and gentlemen. Goodness gracious me. There's a storm coming. There's a winter storm of historic proportion that is could be deadly. It's a major storm, and it's slated to be catastrophic. It's going to be major. So I want to start touching on that right now, ladies and gentlemen, because it's breaking news. So this weekend there's going to be a major storm here in the United States. It's a winter storm of historic proportion, and you've got to take heed. So wherever you are, please like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell, because this is going to be something to remember. It's been many, many years. It's going to be something like 2,000 miles wide. Goodness gracious me. Take heed, ladies and gentlemen. Take heed. It's no joke. This is massive. And please like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell, share it with others who need to prepare, because you've got to prepare for this storm. It's going to be major. You know, it could be catastrophic and deadly. So let's start, because I have about 3 clips on it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Place here. Saturday morning, reinforcing shot starts to move in. You're picking up some moisture right off of the Gulf of America. Michael, a lot of this opens up with original moisture coming from the Pacific. Now you got 2 sources coming on in. And boy, as we go through the evening hours, there's that little nose that we're seeing with some of the warmer air. Starts to move a little farther north today. So that's, I think, is a big change for places like Tennessee, northern Alabama. Either way, you're still dealing with the chance for some freezing rain, and that's going to slow you down.
It's been interesting to watch our forecast models kind of all come into agreement, where it was at one point kind of what we consider the Bible Belt that was really going to be impacted, and now that's starting to slide a little further toward the north.
Yeah.
So you think about the I guess the Mason-Dixon line-ish is kind of where this is all moving towards. So Kentucky, Tennessee now in play, Mid-Atlantic now in play, and eventually, as you can see here, Mid-Atlantic and eventually the Northeast.
And it's a concern when you think about these areas, because there is a lot of hill. It's not major mountains, but until you get to the Appalachians, of course. But you do have a lot of hills, and you do have a lot of windy roads here. It's not like you've got grids in some of the major cities. As far as the cold air damming, that area of high pressure, the original one that comes through before we get the second one here, will help to reinforce some of the cold air that dams up against the Appalachians, right? It doesn't quite make it over the Appalachians. And with that cold air in place, you throw in the moisture, and boom, some of that nosing up and over that cold air, and you're dealing with the chance for some of this freezing rain. The profiles, Michael, we've been watching these all week. They have been interesting.
Yeah, they have.
This is, the vertical profile right above you. What is the air doing? Falling as snow originally, then melting, and then refreezing, right, as it makes instant frozen.
That is the last. This is the last type of profile that you want to see, because again, when it all melts into a liquid, aka rain, and then slams into any surface that's sub-freezing, it immediately freezes on contact, and it creates an icy, It's an ice rink, and it's a dangerous sort of event.
And no matter what you're driving, you can't stop. So
Right.
it's, even walking outside, even look at places like Atlanta, it's going to be a concern for travel here as well.
Man, it is going to be a tough weekend, but of course, Fox Weather will be with you every step of the way.
So, as you can hear, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a major, major event. I want to share a couple more clips on that because you got to prepare wherever you are and you're in that area of concern. It's 2,000 miles right across from from west to east of the United States. It's going to be a big one. You got to be careful. You got to prepare and prepare well. It's not going to be business as usual. It's going to be a major, major event, ladies and gentlemen. So do not take it lightly. If you're here in the United States, prepare. And if you're in that zone, please begin. You should be closing up your preparations right now because this is going to be major. It's going to be catastrophic, and it's slated to be deadly. So there's going to be a lot of loss of electricity in a cold season. You got to have your backup generators and so on, and your backup heating source. So you got to be absolutely prepared. So here we go. Let's listen to another clip on this.
Snow and ice totals are increasing with this blockbuster historic storm on the way this weekend. All the details in today's video. Welcome in, everybody. Hopefully we're having an all right Thursday out there, and we're finally at the point that we can start talking potential totals with this storm system. I've got a region by region breakdown for you in today's video. If you're new to the channel, though, welcome in, everybody. My name is Gerald. I'm a meteorologist at WCCB Charlotte. If you haven't already, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell for the latest notifications. Doing all those things, folks, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. All it does is help me continue to run this channel for free. And it's just me here. There's no corporate strings behind me pulling the levers. Just me, you, and the weather. So I think that's the best way to run this. I think many of you enjoy it that way. So doing all of those things really helps me continue that. And we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. It will be here, I'm sure, sooner than many of us will believe it. But with that said, let's get right on into it. I don't want to take up all of your time today. You can see next to me, this is the latest run of our European computer model. And it continues to show this blockbuster storm, folks. I think snow totals are really trending up for parts of the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. We've got ice totals that we could get half an inch to an inch plus of ice, folks. Anything past an inch, that's whenever you start getting catastrophic problems out there in terms of travel, in terms of power, in terms of infrastructure. And we could see that in parts of the country here over the next couple of days as we continue to track this storm. In fact, we're so close now, we officially have our first winter storm warnings in effect with this storm through parts of Oklahoma and into parts of the Red River Valley of Texas, right there in those pink colors you see on your map. That's our winter storm warnings, including Oklahoma City and back down into even western Oklahoma are seeing the potential here for blockbuster levels of snow and ice. So it's going to be a big one. And I expect more of these warnings to be added throughout the day today, further east, likely getting all the way into the Carolinas by tonight, if not then by tomorrow, expecting those winter storm warnings to go into effect. So yeah, Arizona all the way up to New York State getting involved on this storm. That is one of the reasons that it will truly be a historic one for some folks. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and break down the setup a little bit more in depth, give you the latest model data, and then go to that region by region breakdown of how much snow and ice you could see right in your front yard.
It's never been easier to start a podcast than with Riverside.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Let's get rid of that. And we get back to regular programming here.
Hurricane hunters, yes, that's right. The hurricane hunters flew into some of our upper level energy that is going to come together to create this big winter storm. And I think because of that data that the models were able to ingest overnight, we are finally getting a much clearer picture of what's going to happen this weekend. And that's why I feel confident enough today on Thursday that we can start talking about those totals. This is the piece of energy that they flew into back out just off the west coast of California. You see that little circle or that lobe of vorticity, as we say, this being a spin map or a vorticity map. And this is one of the most important tools when forecasting in meteorology. Spin, and whether it's cyclonic or anticyclonic and all these other things, really help to induce or limit rising motion in the atmosphere. Now, that's not the only piece of energy. The other lobe that matters is up here on the north side, up into Canada. And I kind of try to explain it like this to folks. I'll circle this one in blue. This is our cold energy, okay? This is what's bringing the Arctic air down from Canada. Meanwhile, the other piece of energy I circled out near California, this is our warm and our moist energy. So you've got obviously combining forces here. You've got cold air and then you've got warm air and moisture. That's why we are going to see a ton of whatever falls from the sky is all of the warmth and moisture, as well as why some of us could see an ice storm that we haven't seen in a decade plus in the parts of the southeast, because that warm air cuts out the snow, but the cold air is still there, and that leads to ice. So that's a little bit on kind of the upper level dynamics here, but you can see how they eventually come together and combine right into here. They kind of start to scoop each other up and combine forces right over the heart of the country. Hence why, again, we're going to have this big storm. On top of that, we've got plenty of low-level cold air. And I want to make this a point because, I don't want to sleep on the ice part of this. Snow totals are trending up. So is ice. And this is one of the reasons why. Down at the surface or right above the surface, we have this Arctic air mass working in. It's that blue line and up. That's where temperatures are going to be below freezing, about a mile or so above our head, a little bit less than that technically here at 850 millibars. But on top of that, if you look to the south, look at all this very warm air in the Gulf, and the wind barbs are coming from the south. So all of that warm air is plowing into this cold air, and that's creating a lot of lift and a giant warm nose, as we say, or basically an inversion in the atmosphere, where at the surface, it's actually colder than it is up here about a mile above our head. So that's another recipe for big ice. But if you're further north, you're getting all the lift from that, but you're still cold enough up here into parts of the Ohio Valley, the Northeast, especially the northern mid-Atlantic. You don't really have to worry about that mixing as much. You're going to be just fine with plenty of snow. So you can see the setup here. It's going to give us a mixed bag of options of precipitation that is likely to fall. Let's go ahead now and break down our two global models. You'll see they've come into much better agreement since the last night, and then start talking about those potential totals.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard, it's going to be a catastrophic event because you have ice. There's going to be a thick layer of ice because of the warm and cold air mixing. So when you melt and freeze again, it becomes ice. So it's going to be major. So let's look at another couple of models here that are coming in, and we're going to talk about it in the end. So let me share that with you again. And just remember, like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell, and prepare for this event because it's going to be major. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move in.
All right, we need to talk about what's shaping up to be one of the most significant winter storms in recent years. All the key ingredients are aligning at exactly the right time for widespread snow and ice. This system has the potential to impact everything from Texas straight through to the East Coast. It all starts with a powerful Arctic air mass surging south, bringing dangerous cold to the northern plains. We're talking about wind chills, dropping as low as 65 degrees below zero in some locations. While that Arctic blast crashes southward, a surge of Gulf moisture is pushing north at unusually high levels. When that moisture collides with the entrenched cold air, precipitation will intensify rapidly. What makes this setup particularly concerning is how slowly this entire system is going to evolve. A slow-moving winter storm means prolonged impacts and much higher accumulation totals. Before we dive deep into the timeline, let me know in the comments which city or region you want me to cover. I'll do my best to give you specific forecasts for your area as this situation continues to develop. Now let's break down exactly what's going to happen and when you need to start preparing. This is honestly one of the most concerning winter storm patterns I've tracked in the past 5 years. We could be looking at a crippling winter event stretching from the southern plains through the southeast and up to the coast. Let's start with Wednesday, when our first system begins moving across the Midwest. This will be a quick Alberta clipper, bringing 1 to 2 inches of snow to Chicago and southern Wisconsin. By late Wednesday into Thursday morning, another system tracks north of the Great Lakes. This brings light to moderate snow across Pennsylvania, Michigan, and portions of the Northeast. Thursday itself will actually be the quietest day of the week for precipitation. But Thursday is when the real story begins, and it's all about the Arctic blast. A powerful high-pressure system drops out of Canada, funneling bitter cold air deep into the south. For the northern plains and upper Midwest, we're looking at life-threatening wind chills. Areas north of Minneapolis could see wind chills plummet to 60 degrees below zero or colder. This extreme cold persists through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday across the northern tier. If you're in the upper Midwest, you may not see much snow, but conditions will be brutally dangerous. Now, here's where things get serious, especially for the central and southern plains. Friday is when the winter storm really begins to crank up across a huge portion of the country. Arctic air diving south from Canada meets moisture streaming in from both the Pacific and the Gulf. An imaginary boundary stretches from New Mexico all the way back through Virginia. Along that boundary is where moisture and cold air collide to create a massive winter storm. This is unlike anything we've seen in the last 5 to 10 years because of how many factors are converging. We don't have a typical low-pressure system spinning up like you'd see with a nor'easter. Instead, we have an intense high-pressure system at 1,054 millibars over South Dakota. That high pressure is squeezing cold air southward and essentially manufacturing this winter storm. By Friday afternoon, wintry precipitation begins ramping up across the southern plains. This marks the beginning of what could be a multi-day stretch of dangerous winter weather. Freezing rain and snow begin across Oklahoma, Kansas, and back toward Little Rock, Arkansas. Light freezing rain starts near the Red River Valley of Texas.
This is day one of my husband doing Tai Chi workout.
Let's get this off the screen and go back to regular programming. It's going to be a dangerous
areas
storm.
Like Amarillo and Lubbock. By Friday evening, the intensity really picks up across Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas. Freezing rain begins as early as 4 to 5 p.m. if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. For Oklahoma City, you're looking at a dangerous mix of snow and ice beginning Friday evening. This continues through Saturday morning with potential for several inches of snow and significant ice. Travel will be extremely hazardous, if not impossible, across the metro area. Tulsa faces a similar situation with heavy snow and ice, making roads impassable Friday night into Saturday. For Wichita, Kansas, the main concern is heavy snow, with accumulations potentially reaching 6 to 10 inches. Kansas City sits right on the edge between heavy snow to the north and ice to the south. Even a slight shift in the storm track makes a massive difference between 8 inches of snow or crippling ice. For Dallas-Fort Worth, after one of the warmest starts to winter on record, reality is about to hit hard. Freezing rain moves in Friday night and continues into Saturday, potentially causing widespread outages. Ice accumulations could be significant enough to snap tree limbs and down power lines across the Metroplex. For Houston, you're on the southern edge, but freezing rain is definitely possible in northern suburbs. Even the city itself could see temperatures drop to freezing, with rain transitioning to sleet. San Antonio sits right in the transition zone, where rain could mix with or change to freezing rain. For Austin, this could be one of the most significant winter weather events in over a decade. Now let's shift east to Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, where things get even more concerning. Little Rock is looking at a combination of heavy snow transitioning to ice, potentially one of the worst storms in years. Snow accumulations of 6 to 12 inches are possible before the changeover to freezing rain. For Memphis, Tennessee, ice is the primary threat, with a significant freezing rain event likely. This setup could cause major disruptions to power and travel across the entire metro area. Shreveport and Bossier City face a similar ice threat, with accumulations potentially crippling the region. Jackson, Mississippi could see its most significant winter weather event since the historic 2021 ice storm. For New Orleans, you're far enough south that impact should be minimal, mainly just very cold temperatures. But even the Gulf Coast will feel the Arctic blast, with temperatures dropping into the 20s and 30s. Now let's talk about the Southeast, where cold air damming creates a particularly dangerous setup. Cold air gets trapped against the Appalachian Mountains, creating a wedge of frigid air at the surface. When moisture rides over that cold wedge, you get ice instead of snow or rain. This is exactly what we're seeing with this system, and it's why the ice threat is so significant. For Birmingham, Alabama, you're looking at a mix of snow and ice beginning Saturday morning. This could be a prolonged event with impacts lasting through Sunday across central Alabama. Huntsville sits further north and has a better chance of seeing more snow than ice. Accumulations of 3 to 6 inches are possible, which would be significant for northern Alabama. For Nashville, Tennessee, you're right in the zone for heavy snow with potential for 4 to 8 inches. This would create major travel problems across Middle Tennessee throughout the weekend. Knoxville could see similar snow totals with the potential for ice mixed in depending on temperatures. Chattanooga sits in a transition zone where the difference between snow and ice is extremely tight. For Atlanta, you're on the southern edge, but freezing rain is definitely possible, especially north of the city. The northern suburbs and areas toward the mountains could see the most significant impacts. Now let's move to the Carolinas, where this storm has the potential to be truly historic. Charlotte, North Carolina is looking at significant snow, potentially 6 to 12 inches based on current models. This would be one of the heaviest snowfalls Charlotte has seen in over a decade. Raleigh-Durham sits in a zone where heavy snow is likely, with accumulations possibly reaching 8 to 12 inches. The Research Triangle could see major disruptions with this much snow over such a prolonged period. For Greensboro and Winston-Salem, you're right in the heart of the predicted heavy snow zone. Some models are suggesting totals approaching a foot or more, which would be absolutely crippling. Asheville in the mountains could see significant snow as well, potentially over a foot in higher elevations. For Columbia, South Carolina, the setup favors a significant ice event rather than heavy snow.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, you can check your local weather channel, the national weather channel, the emergency weather channels. So, check in, keep batteries in your radio, because if you're in that zone, you need to prepare and complete your preparations immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, it's no joke. It's going to be a big event. So, like, share, subscribe, comment. Please share this so others can see it, because it's going to be a major storm event. And I'm going to call on a gentleman to talk about it, because it's a big deal. So let's move into that video, and then we're going to move on with the rest of the show. But please like, share, subscribe, comment. Don't take it for a joke. This is going to be a major winter storm event, one that you've never seen in recent years. So check it out. Let's get back to it. Here we go.
That's coming this weekend, because I didn't want to freak people out, and a lot of these forecasts never pan out, but this one is panning out, it looks like. Yeah, everyone's in agreement now that the crazy forecast is actually happening. This is going to be one of those storms you probably remember for much of your life. Basically, more than the eastern half of the United States is going to be below freezing, most of that below zero. They're calling for, foot and a half of snow all through here, all the way to the mid-Atlantic, and 3 inches of ice in this pink band right here. 3 inches of ice is unbelievably catastrophic. That is worse than what Texas experienced in 2021. There's going to be loss of life. Anywhere there's 3 inches of ice, there's no power. There's not going to be a power line that's not on the ground when there's 3 inches of ice. And emergency services aren't going to be able to reach you because there's 3 inches of ice on the road. That's what's going to happen if this forecast is correct. The grid's going to fail. Refineries are going to shut down. Water systems are going to shut down. Could knock out a couple of LNG terminals if it goes far enough south on the Gulf Coast. This is going to be a disaster if this forecast is even close to accurate. Amazing. I mean, a major disaster. Incredible. Huge natural disaster across pretty much all the southern states. Amazing. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if you live in the pink area, you should plan to be without power for at least a week, maybe a month. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but you need to prepare for it, because it wouldn't be the first time it happened, okay? This is that. People went without power for a month in Texas in 2021. This is a repeat of that. For you folks in the upper Midwest, where it's going to be like 30 below, take the largest electric bill you've ever had in your life and add, 25% to that or more. Yeah. But more importantly, just be prepared.
You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot overemphasize that. It's going to be a catastrophic event. Please be prepared. Welcome to the show, all those who are commenting. I can see Joey Maba and Island Girl in Chicago. Joey Maba he's in the Australia area. Big Peso and a few others that are, welcome to the show. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell so you know when the show comes on. Welcome to the show. And we're going to continue into U.S. immigration. There's a block going on right now. And we want to touch on a few things regarding the U.S. immigration. It's a tough one. It's going to be a tough year. It's not going to get any easier anytime soon, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have not secured yourself, I hope you're doing so, because the ICE raids are coming and they're going on right now, and they're gonna intensify. So here we go. Check this out. Attorney Matt Bean tell you about it.
What happens if you're in the car, if you're driving? Let's go into the car and you're pulled over. You're either a passenger in the car or you're the driver. What should you do? Well, first of all, if you're the driver, don't take off. Don't do that. Just safely pull over immediately. Don't even try to resist. Turn your car off, turn the engine off, turn on the internal light in your car so that they could see you and see everything that's happening inside your car, particularly if it's at night. You don't want to give the appearance that you're up to something or you have a weapon or something, because you could lose your life easily, just like that. Now, you turn on that internal light and you roll down that window and you appear cooperative. If it's police and they're asking you for a driver's license, you're going to have to present your driver's license, your registration, and proof of insurance. If you do not have any of these documents, do not give them anything false. You're going to be hearing that so frequently in this one. Don't give false documents, because what happens is it makes your immigration lawyer's job even harder to defend you if you go ahead and you claim to be a U.S. citizen or you present that false Social Security card or false green card. Just don't give them any false documents. The next thing that you should not do is do not give them permission to search your car. Although you're appearing like you're cooperating and you should cooperate with law enforcement, do not resist law enforcement, guys. You're going to cooperate, but you don't have to say, yes, go search my trunk. Yes, come on in and look through my glove compartment. You don't have to say yes to any of those activities. And if they begin to just start searching your car, just say, no, I don't consent to this. No, I don't agree with what you're doing. No, just say no, get it on the record, but certainly do not resist. They may ask you questions about your immigration status while you're in your car. Again, you do not have to answer any questions about whether you have a green card or not. If it's the police that is trying to apprehend you, you could certainly ask for their name and their badge number, and you could write that information down. But again, be very careful about your movements in the car. You can't just suddenly just say, I'm going to go into that glove compartment and pull out my pen and begin writing down the badge number, because if you are unfortunately with a police officer who's highly motivated to take further action, you could lose your life just like that. So the smart thing to do would be to say, officer, I'm going to grab my pen because I need to write down your name and badge number. And I'm going to get my pen. That's what I'm doing right now. Say it so that the officer doesn't think that you're reaching in to get a gun or something like that, because that's how people lose their lives, unfortunately, in the United States when they're stopped. What happens if you're in? So,
ladies and gentlemen, you heard ICE raids are going to turn up, and they're going to intensify. It's going to get more and more. And, whilst that's going on in the United States, the U.S. government has paused immigrant visas for 75 countries indefinitely. So this is we don't know what's going on until we just have to wait to see what's going on. But I want to share that with you. Most of you may have seen this, but I'm going to share it with you anyways. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and click the notification bell. So Zero Cool JKM is a hells yeah. So big up to what Zero Cool JKM. Welcome to the show. So 75 countries have been blocked, and these countries, the immigrant side of visas. Everything else is going on, but the immigrant visas have been paused indefinitely. So let's listen to that and we'll move on from there.
In a completely different realm, but an important one, the U.S. has suspended all immigrant visa processing for 75 countries, including Afghanistan, Somalia, and Russia.
And also Jamaica. So listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen.
State Department says people from these countries would be a strain on American public resources. Camila Montoya Galvez follows all things immigration for CBS News, and he joins us now from New York. Camila, good to see you. It's been a while. What does the Trump administration mean by straining public resources?
Just to level set, Ed, the Trump administration is yet again moving to restrict legal immigration as part of this broad crackdown on the immigration system. As you mentioned, this pause affects immigrant visas requested by nationals of 75 countries around the globe. That affects roughly 38% of all countries across the globe. It's a really significant restriction on legal immigration. And the premise here, according to the Trump administration, is to re-examine immigration procedures, Ed, to ensure that the U.S. can properly and adequately prevent and bar the entry of immigrants who would come here to the U.S. permanently to move here on a permanent basis if they are likely to become what is known as a public charge or an economic burden on the country, meaning that they are likely to receive welfare or other public assistance to basically survive here in the country. Importantly, this only applies to people who are looking to move here permanently on immigrant visas after they are sponsored by American citizen relatives or employers. It does not apply to temporary visas requested by tourists, for example, or travelers on a short-term basis. But the list of countries is vast and includes some notable inclusions, including Brazil, Colombia, Cuba, Egypt, Guatemala, Pakistan, Somalia, Senegal, Ed. It is set to take effect next week. And it is a vivid reminder, Ed, that while the Trump administration has launched this high-profile crackdown on illegal immigration across the country with major raids in major U.S. cities, it is also simultaneously moving to sharply restrict legal immigration, including by suspending refugee admissions and issuing that travel ban that affects 39 countries across.
So there is an update on the travel bans for these 39 countries, ladies and gentlemen. I want to bring that to you. So that is also on the table. There's an update on that, and I'm going to bring that to you. So for not only are the ICE raids going on, and also the pause on immigrant visas, there's also the travel ban that it has been updated too. So let's check this out and let's bring that to you. So hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen. Let me bring that. I think I got the wrong video up. So I'm going to change that. But you got to take heed. You know, we got to wait to see what's going on. And also you got to guard yourself when you're on social media. Just remember that is also up for contention, that the U.S. government is also looking at your okay, I'm just looking at the travel bans here. So the U.S. government is looking at your social media and your online presence. It's a big deal. So you got to be careful what you're saying if you plan to travel here, or at any time, whether you're a visitor or you're trying to immigrate here. So that's something you got to be absolutely careful. You know, whatever you say online, make sure you don't say things against the United States or its government or its people. You know, so you got to be absolutely careful, guys. So here we go. Let's get to Attorney McBean talking about the travel ban. Here we go. Let's bring that to your screen.
We left off in 2025 saying that USCIS had not yet paused or made a statement indicating that they're going to pause the applications for individuals who are from all of the 39 countries, right? We knew certainly they had paused the applications for individuals who were on the first original travel ban list from several months ago. They have since officially came out now with their January 1st memo called Hold and Review of USCIS Benefit Applications Filed by Aliens from Additional High-Risk Countries. This memo does three things. Number one, it placed on hold all pending applications from aliens listed in the presidential proclamations, and it lists the various proclamations, pending a comprehensive review, regardless of the entry date. What this means is that all 39 travel ban countries, obviously there's litigation, some lawyers have filed various lawsuits, and we're all waiting to see how those are going to work out. But right now, USCIS is not moving forward on applications. It says all pending applications, benefit applications. So this does include also naturalization, the green card, and all applications for all of these 39 countries. They are going to conduct what they are considering a comprehensive review of these cases. The second thing, it says conduct a comprehensive review of all policies, procedures, and screening and vetting processes for benefit requests for aliens from countries listed in the presidential proclamation, which expanded it to 39 countries. So they're going to go back and look at their own policies to see, does this make sense? Does that make sense in light of the changes? The third thing that it does, and guys, you got to hear this one clearly, conduct a comprehensive re-review of approved benefit requests implicated in the proclamation that were approved on or after January 20th, 2021, which is the date that Joe Biden took office. So they're going to go back and look at those approved cases, those approved asylum cases, approved green card cases, approved cases dating back to January 20th, 2021 to decide who are we going to call back in for an interview, whose case are we going to reopen, how are we going to proceed, did we miss anything when we approved the case years ago or even last year, did we miss something? So that's what they're saying here that they're going to do. And this expands to all of those 39 countries, those new ones. Nigeria is on that list, Sierra Leone, and all these other countries, many of which are African countries.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. There is an update on the travel ban on these 39 countries. And what the U.S. government is proposing that they're going to be doing here, there's you can go back and rewind this and listen again for those countries that are on the travel ban list. Also, you have, as I said, ICE raids going on. You have suspension of this indefinite suspension of immigrant visas from 75 countries. And we also have to look at citizens who are trying to get their spouses into the United States. That's a big deal, since, especially from these 75 countries, it's that's on pause and it's indefinite. So let's listen to that for a second. Some of us have gone all the way to almost the end to get this news. So you have to be waiting on the U.S. government to tell us what they're going to do.
Not
So
be
here we
able
go.
to bring their spouse to the United States if the spouse is from one of these 75 countries. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York. You might have already heard the devastating news that the administration has decided to pause the immigrant visa processing for your spouse. And you're probably scrambling and devastated, obviously thinking about the fact that you've done all of the right things, you've paid all of the fees, you filled out all of those paperwork, you are probably just waiting now for an embassy interview date. Firstly, do not panic, okay? I know this is devastating, but do not panic. Number two, it's indefinite because the government has given some strange rationale for this pause, which will be challenged, guys. It will be challenged. And the rationale that they've provided is the fact that they would like to ensure that your spouse will not be a burden to the U.S. taxpayers. Your spouse will not come to the United States and benefit from our welfare system. But there's already a protocol and system and process in place to evaluate whether your spouse will in fact become a public charge, which is what it's called. You as the sponsor, you are the one who has said, I will be on the hook for my wife or my husband. I am going to be financially responsible for him or her. I meet the income requirements for that. So why should the government now pause the processing of your spouse's case on the basis of public charge? It makes 0 cents. So this will be challenged. If your spouse is a dual citizen and he or she applies for the visa under the nationality of a country that's not on this ban list, he or she will be able to get the visa. If your spouse has a tourist visa and periodically visits the United States to see you or for vacation, well, on the next trip or on any future trips, if that person changes his or her mind and decides to stay with you because family unity is key, your spouse will be free to change his or her mind at that point and just change the case to an adjustment of status process.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is giving you some sort of explanation, but we got to look at the other side of things, that legal permanent residents and also United States citizens are now placed on what we call it, on notice on for a couple of things. So let's look at that for a second, and I'll comment on it afterwards. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check this out. Here we go. Let's bring that to our screens. Got it. And we're going to dive in. Here we go.
In spite of the hold does not prevent filing your applications. The hold just prevents a final decision on any application. We are hopeful, very, very hopeful, that one of these lawsuits that are pending is going to turn, one federal judge somewhere is going to be reasonable enough to say you cannot, put people's lives in limbo. Let's turn things around. Anyway, let's talk immigration. Okay, so LPRs and U.S. citizens, you have been placed on notice, and here's what I mean by that. Unless you are living under a rock or you are just in the world of your own, we know what's going on with immigration. People are being stopped just like that at any point in time, whatever the case may be. I'll go a step further. This is classified information. I would try to say it in such a way where it's not, y'all understand, because y'all are my people. To my Casco very, very quickly. So there's a memo that they actually had been circulating amongst themselves. You know who I'm talking about, since last year when they took over. Basically, telling their agents, their people, the minions, that they're giving them authorization to forcefully go into people's homes, even without a warrant. This is not something somebody made up. This is something that is in black and white. So I say that to say this. If they are going to be bold enough, listen, when you talk about you talk about the United States, you talk about the land of the free, the home of the brave, land of the free. I mean, you sing it all day, every day. It's hard to believe that this is the same country where this is all going on. The same country that was founded by immigrants. Because all these people that are making a whole lot of noise, none of them look like American Indians to me. None of them. So, they came to steal somebody else's land, but they're now afraid that other people would steal it back from them. So I think that's what's going on. But anyway, I digress. So there is that memo that is circulating. And so somehow somebody leaked it. But here's where it's important for LPRs and U.S. citizens. So at this point, based on that, they have like a blanket authority to just stop anybody who is non-white. So if you look like me, if you're much lighter skinned than me, but you are brown skin at the end of the day, you are olive skin, you have an accent like I do, or you just sound different, you look different from the norm, then there's a possibility that you will be stopped. This is not fear tactics or whatever, because somebody's going to say, what's he down today? Please, this is serious business now, because those people who are going to be talking, when push comes to shove, they won't show up for you. So as they always say, prevention is better than cure, better safe than sorry. If you are a legal permanent resident, you are a United States citizen, we are seeing citizens being detained. We're seeing LPRs being detained. Yes, albeit they're released later on, but I would rather not go through being detained and locked up and scared and not even know what to, and I'm waiting for somebody to bring my records and all that. I'd rather not have to deal with that if I don't have to. And than to be scared and not, and my family is afraid. Just avoid that by being prepared. Be prepared and have copies of your documentation to prove your status. Now, the DHS secretary has also said it. She said that, yes, unfortunately, because of our crackdown, that means that some people who are legally here in the United States, to include legal permanent residents and citizens, may end up being detained. So they're advising people, this is even coming from them, advising people to have proof of their status, so that when you are asked the proof of your status, now keep in mind, there's no legal basis for those people to even question you and ask you for your status. That's not, there's no legal basis for that. It's unconstitutional. It is racial profiling, and that's what it is. Unfortunately, they've got the backing of the highest court of the land saying, yes, it's okay for them if they suspect that the person is not here legally, they can ask. So they're using that as a blanket authority to just stop people everywhere, anywhere, asking to show proof of your status. And if you sound different, then there's an issue. So as a legal permanent resident, number one, you are actually mandatorily required to have a copy of your green card with you at all times. That is the law. Before all the immigration crackdown, whatever, that is the requirement as a legal permanent resident. A lot of us don't carry cards. A lot of us just have, maybe a screenshot, whatever. At the very least, have a screenshot of your green card. At the very least, if your children are also green card holders, have a screenshot of the green cards with you. We all have smartphones. I don't know anybody on the surface of this earth who doesn't have a smartphone. If you have a flip phone, I'm not sure what part of the universe you're from. But if you have screenshots of everything else, that I need screenshot that won't make it so. I'm waiting. But anyway, so in all seriousness, it has a screenshot of everything else. Have a screenshot of your green card with you. If you don't have the green card on you, make sure that your phone contains a copy of your green card. Make sure that your phone contains copies of green cards for your children, for your spouse, for whatever the case may be. If you are a U.S. citizen, be sure that you've got a copy of if you're a naturalized citizen, be sure that you've got a copy of your naturalization certificate. Yes, you can have a copy of a U.S. passport, but if you sound different, quote unquote different, and because we've had situations, we've seen stories in the news, confirmed stories, where people actually have your U.S. passport and they still doubt that those people are U.S. citizens. And so if you're a naturalized citizen, you just take a photo of your naturalization certificate, have it on your phone, so that if there's any reason why you were pulled over, traffic stop, they just run into the gas station, things that we're seeing on everyday basis, you've got proof, and that nothing is guaranteed, but at least you know that you have a high chance of not being detained and being accused of being here illegally.
So, ladies and gentlemen, think about that carefully. Even U.S. citizens can be checked out in a secondary check, so to speak. So you got to be prepared with your documents, and especially legal permanent residents. Also, you got to remember that even though you have those who have pending cases that you have not gotten approved yet, or you did not get your green card yet, I'm going to talk about that in a little while. You want to stay tuned and listen to this. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell. So let's check this out. Regarding U.S. citizens, are you required to show your passports? That was a question that was asked of me to address, and I'm going to address that right now with Attorney McBean. It is critical that you get this information. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check this out right now. Attorney
U.S.
McBean.
citizens are not required to show their passport. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York. Earlier this week, Secretary Kristi Noem said that if we are on a target, there may be individuals surrounding that criminal that we may be asking who they are and why they're there and having them validate their identity. Under the Fourth Amendment of our Constitution, it provides that we are protected from unreasonable searches and seizures by law enforcement. Secretary Noem's statement, however, makes it sound like we should be prepared to show our paper that we are U.S. citizens in order to not be arrested by ICE. We have seen over the past several months how ICE has arrested individuals who said that they are U.S. citizens and they just didn't believe them. And then after they were able to validate that information, they released them after holding them for some time. We also saw stories involving people who just only had an accent or they're brown, and they were arrested on the basis of their accent and their skin color. The U.S. Supreme Court gave DHS the green light a few months ago to racially profile individuals on the basis of their accent and on the basis of how they look and where they're located or where they work. And so now this racial profiling has extended to U.S. citizens. Secretary Noem has made this statement that has a lot of people very concerned. But friends, keep in mind that under our law, U.S. citizens are not required to walk around with papers to prove their citizenship.
So, as you heard, ladies and gentlemen, it is a big, big deal. So, I keep saying that if you're going to make an omelet, you got to break some eggs. So, this dragnet that's coming, that's sweeping across the nation with ICE, checking everybody, it will scoop up a few citizens and legal permanent residents. And also, even people are here visiting legally. But you got to have your documentation to prove that you are here legally. So this is no joke, because if you notice, we're emphasizing this for a reason, because the ICE raids are coming. I lead off with that because it is real. So you got to be prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Also, we want to talk about registration. If you're traveling outside the country as a U.S. citizen, since I touched on what's going on with the ICE raids and so on, with the block or the pause on immigrant visas in these 75 countries, the travel ban on these other 39 countries, you got to be also prepared going out of the country. If you're going out as a citizen, there's some things that you need to do. So one of the thing is to register with the State Department that you're leaving the country. Give the dates that you're leaving the country, sign up and give your information there, because it's absolutely necessary that you do. You may not think it right now as being anything important because you're a citizen, but let me bring up the website for you. If you're going to travel outside the country, ladies and gentlemen, as a United States citizen, then please register here at my.travel.gov. This is the website. You can, it's a smart traveler enrollment program. Go on the website and register there, and register the dates you're leaving the country. Register the dates that you're coming back into the country, so at least you have a trail of your travels, because this is absolutely important. Also, if you're traveling overseas and something happens in that country and you need to be evacuated, or you need information from the U.S. Embassy, they will send it to you wherever you are on your device or to your email. There's a lot to read up on. There's a lot of benefits for U.S. citizens, but most importantly, when you're traveling, it gives you that paper trail It gives the U.S. government that knowledge that you have traveled out of the country into these countries and you're in this location. And if you need to be evacuated, they can get you or they can reach you if in cases of emergency. So check it out. This is a beautiful program for U.S. citizens, and it's one other level of protection for you. So don't take it for granted, ladies and gentlemen. Just check it out. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell. And welcome to each and everyone commenting in the comment section. Please share, like, and spread the word. Welcome to RAMP Promotions, the Real Deal Podcast Show. As we enter into the second segment of the show, we're gonna check on also things for people in Jamaica. Let's first of all tell you something. Whichever country you're in, you got to realize that it's a new era of travel, immigration, and so on. And social media is playing a major role. The internet is playing a major role here. And you've got to be cognizant of the fact that whatever you say or do in the internet space is going to be seen by the U.S. government. And if you're planning to come here, it's going to play a major role in the U.S. government deciding whether or not you should enter the country or even leave the country if you're here. You get what I'm saying? So you got to be very, very careful of your your internet presence and what you're saying and doing online, because it plays a major role. So I wanted to play this to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. You know, it's just a joke, but it's a joke video. But if you listen carefully or to what I'm saying and what they're saying, then you can get a better picture. So here we go. Let's check that out, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm crying, dog. Innocent, dog. Let me tell you, the skin out down so wait for you. Yeah. Yo, put your big head in this, man. You feel that? Them boy there wait for you down, so. Police boy. Boy, let me tell you. Nah, nothing for me. That me I tell you. Try a minute, that's what me. Yo. Which league them a play? Them a juggle ball. They killer bit. Up them a killer. Up there. Which league them a? Yo, alligator! How are you going like a brand new down here, brother? Yo, alligator skunk, you not a real killer, you know? Yo, me love how you deal with the Chinese boy. The baddest thing me know around, my brother. You see, yo, no, so you clean out the whole place, them, brother. Yo, you see, yo, you are the boss. Dog, you make gully lock, get the lock, you know? Yo, no, say nothing. You fuck chin, dog. Are you on chin there, dog? See, yo, he's a little them last, yo. Them last, you know, you. Yo, just cooler, man. No say nothing, dog. Yo, let me tell you this. You see the whole Chilani go right back. Yo, no say nothing. You respond. No say nothing. Cooler, man. You really want to get you in tune to this camera thing, cause you see from your walking up the gate for everybody that's so you food we are eat from them. You know, if you say nothing more, you see me? Cooler, man. Run the place, you know. It's not normal, you know. Me, I want you to put me on. Just give me some number. Give me something. Yo. Yes, I sell him and I sell something. Yes, I sell him and I sell something. To a window.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lesson to be learned there. You know, they said a fish cannot get caught unless until only when he opens his mouth. So, ladies and gentlemen, your internet presence is absolutely critical to your future. No matter what you're doing in this life, you know, from this point forward, you got to understand that your internet presence, what you said in the past, is always there forever and ever. And you got to be absolutely careful of what you're saying, especially around technology. The phones, they're always listening and looking. So you got to understand that you've got to be absolutely careful. And your phones have a GPS. It tells where you go, what how long you've been there, how many trips you make there. Technology, there's nothing hidden anymore. There's no privacy, because this is a big deal. Now that I've heard a clip on Google allowing the artificial intelligence to check emails. So that I'm gonna check on that to see how credible that information is. I just got that just before I started the show, and I didn't want to bring it on here unless I check the source to make sure it's credible. But you can tell me in the comment section if you have seen it, and where did you see it, so I can check it out as well. So I'm going to dive deep into that, because that's a big deal. If Google is allowing artificial intelligence to check everyone's email, that's critical. That's crucial, and that could be detrimental to a lot of people, and that's a lot of privacy concerns there. But I gotta check it out. I'm not too sure if that's true or false. It could be a propaganda, so I'm going to check that out. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of people in Jamaica are feeling the spirit at this point, but I want to tell you that there's a number of countries you can travel to visa free. There's always hope. So many countries are there that has an agreement with the Jamaican government, and you can travel there visa free. I'm going to give you 7 of them, and you can check out the rest on the Jamaican websites, Jamaican government websites, and also other websites that you have access to search to see visa-free countries that Jamaicans or other people of other countries can travel to, especially in the Caribbean or around the world. If you're barred from coming to the U.S., you can check that out. Research it, because this is for Jamaica. I'm going to give you 7 countries that you can travel to visa-free. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check that out right now.
Imagine landing in a new country with 0 visa stress. No embassy lines, no rejections, just your Jamaican passport and open borders. In 2026, 7 countries are rolling out the red carpet for Jamaicans, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you can go, how long you can stay, and why Jamaica is being prioritized. Stay till the end. Number 7 is a hidden paradise most Jamaicans don't even know about. Country number 7, Singapore. Let's start with a country that screams opportunity. Singapore. Visa-free stay, 30 days. Entry requirements, valid passport, 6 months, return ticket. Why Singapore loves Jamaica? Strong diplomatic ties since 1975. This isn't just any Asian country. This is the financial powerhouse of Southeast Asia. Gardens by the Bay, Marina Bay Sands, a city where the future is now. Picture this. You land at Changi Airport, rated the world's best, and you walk straight through immigration. No questions, no stress, just 30 days of pure potential. Whether you're exploring business opportunities, experiencing mind-blowing architecture, or tasting food from 50 different cultures in one hawker center, Singapore treats Jamaicans with respect. But Singapore is just the warm-up. Number 6 is where adventure meets freedom. Country number 6, Kenya. Welcome to the motherland. Welcome to Kenya. Visa-free stay, 90 days. Entry requirements, passport, return ticket, proof of accommodation. African unity, Jamaica-Kenya brotherhood runs deep. There's something magical about stepping onto African soil with a passport that says Jamaica. It's like coming home to a place you've never been. The Masai Mara, Mount Kenya, the beaches of Mombasa, the energy of Nairobi, Africa's Silicon Savannah. Kenya doesn't just tolerate Jamaicans, they celebrate us because they know our history. They know Bob Marley sang about African unity. They know Marcus Garvey dreamed of this connection. 90 days, family. That's 3 months to explore, network, invest, or simply breathe the air of a continent that shaped who we are.
From Africa, we're flying to a place where crystal clear water meets island paradise. Country number 5, the Bahamas. Caribbean to Caribbean, island love, the Bahamas. Visa-free stay, 90 days. Entry requirements, passport, return ticket, CARICOM Advantage, Caribbean Brotherhood in action. Now I know what you're thinking. The Bahamas? That's just next door. But hear me out. This isn't just about visa-free access. This is about opportunity. The Bahamas is one of the wealthiest Caribbean nations. Nassau is a financial hub. Paradise Island is luxury personified. And the best part? Bahamians treat Jamaicans like family. Not tourists, not foreigners, but brothers and sisters from the same Caribbean waters. Want to explore business, network with Caribbean entrepreneurs, or just escape to beaches that make Instagram jealous? You've got 90 days to make it happen. But wait, number 4 is where things get seriously interesting.
Country number 4, South Korea. From the Caribbean to the cutting edge, South Korea. Visa-free stay, 90 days. Entry requirements, passport, 6 months validity, return ticket, tech paradise, world's fastest internet. Samsung, LG, K-culture explosion. Yes, you heard that right. 90 days in one of Asia's most advanced nations. No visa, no hassle. Seoul, neon-lit streets. Jeju Island's volcanic beauty, the DMZ's historical weight, Korean BBQ that changes your life, K-drama filming locations, BTS history. South Korea represents something powerful, a nation that recognizes Jamaica's value. They're not scared of Caribbean passport holders. They're welcoming us. Tech entrepreneurs, 90 days to network with Samsung executives. Culture lovers, dive deep into the Korean wave. Students, explore universities ranked among the world's best. South Korea proves that respect knows no geography. When a powerhouse nation opens its doors, you walk through with your head held high. And now, the top 3, starting with a country that will blow your mind. Country number 3, Hong Kong. Number 3 is the one I promised would shock you. Hong Kong. Visa-free stay, 90 days. Entry requirements, passport, return documentation. Global gateway. East meets West. Business meets culture. Let that sink in. 3 months in one of the world's most expensive, most exclusive, most dynamic cities. And Jamaicans can just walk in. Victoria Peak overlooking a sea of skyscrapers. Temple Street Night Market, dim sum and Michelin-starred restaurants, the fusion of British colonial history and Chinese tradition. Hong Kong isn't just a city, it's a statement. It's one of the world's top financial centers saying, Jamaica, you're welcome here. Business opportunities, through the roof. Cultural experiences, unmatched. The gateway to China, wide open. While other passport holders are paying thousands for visas, you're exploring one of Asia's crown jewels for free. But we're not done yet. Number 2 and number 1 are going to redefine everything you thought you knew about your passport. Country number 2, Dominica. Number 2 takes us back to the Caribbean, but this time to nature's masterpiece, Dominica. Visa-free stay, 6 months. Entry requirements, passport, return ticket. Nature's paradise, 365 rivers, boiling lake, untouched rainforests. 6 months, half a year to explore the nature island of the Caribbean. Now, let me paint you a picture of what Dominica really is. This isn't your typical Caribbean island with all-inclusive resorts and cruise ship ports. No, this is raw Caribbean, untouched Caribbean. The Caribbean before the world discovered it. Imagine waking up to the sound of waterfalls. Not 1, not 2, but hundreds cascading down volcanic mountains covered in emerald green rainforest. Dominica has 365 rivers. Think about that. 1 river for every single day of the year. The boiling lake, the second largest hot spring in the entire world, sits in the middle of Morne Trois Pitons National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. You hike through volcanic terrain, past sulfur vents steaming from the earth itself, to witness water literally boiling from geothermal heat deep beneath the surface. Champagne Reef. Ever dive in water that fizzes like champagne? Volcanic gases rise from the ocean floor, creating thousands of tiny bubbles around you, while tropical fish swim through what looks like nature's own jacuzzi. It's surreal. It's magical. The Waitukubuli Trail, the longest hiking trail in the Caribbean, 196 kilometers of pure adventure through cloud forests, across rivers, past indigenous Kalinago villages, offering views that will make you understand why Columbus called these islands the Indies. But here's what makes Dominica truly special for Jamaicans. This isn't just vacation. 6 months gives you time. Time to understand why this island survived Hurricane Maria, one of the most powerful storms in Atlantic history, and came back stronger. Time to learn from a people who live in harmony with nature, who generate 28% of their electricity from geothermal and hydroelectric power. Dominica doesn't just welcome Jamaicans, they embrace us. CARICOM unity at its finest. Caribbean family looking out for Caribbean family. Walk into any shop, any restaurant, any village, and when they hear that Jamaican accent, you're not a tourist.
6 months is enough to truly immerse yourself. Start an ecotourism business in one of the world's fastest growing sustainable tourism markets. Write that book you've been postponing while listening to waves crash against black sand beaches. Heal your soul in hot springs that have been used for natural healing for centuries. Learn permaculture from communities that have sustained themselves for generations. You could spend a month just exploring the waterfalls. Trafalgar Falls, twin waterfalls, one hot, one cold, named after the famous battle. Middleham Falls, hidden deep in the rainforest. Victoria Falls, not the African one, but equally stunning, dropping 200 feet into a crystal pool. Scott's Head, where the Caribbean Sea literally meets the Atlantic Ocean. Stand at the point and look left, calm Caribbean turquoise. Look right, deep Atlantic blue. 2 oceans, 1 island, infinite possibilities. And the cost of living? A fraction of what you'd pay in Jamaica's tourist areas. Fresh produce from local farmers. Fish caught that morning. Rent that won't drain your savings. This is where 6 months of your life could cost less than 1 month anywhere else, while giving you memories worth a lifetime. This isn't just about tourism. This is about Caribbean nations recognizing each other's strength, supporting each other's people, and building together. When hurricanes hit, we help each other rebuild. When opportunities arise, we open doors for each other. When the world tries to divide us, we stand as one. Dominica is living proof that small doesn't mean powerless, that Caribbean doesn't mean dependent, that nature and progress can coexist, and that your Jamaican passport opens doors to experiences money simply cannot buy. And finally, number 1, the country that proves your Jamaican passport is golden.
Country number 1, Panama. Number 1, the crown jewel, Panama. Visa-free stay, 180 days. Requirements: passport, return ticket, proof of funds. 6 months. Let that sink in. Panama sits at one of the most strategic locations on Earth, where the Atlantic and Pacific meet and global trade flows through the Panama Canal. This isn't just geography, it's opportunity. Panama City is a modern financial hub with a skyline that rivals Dubai, over 100 international banks, and the US dollar as its official currency. Stable, global, and business-friendly. Outside the city, pure diversity. Sandblast Islands, untouched Caribbean paradise. Bocas del Toro, beaches, surfing, island life. Boquete, cool mountains, and world-famous coffee. But here's why Panama is number 1 for Jamaicans. That 180-day stay lets you test retirement, build an online business, or explore residency without paying a single visa fee. Panama taxes only local income, meaning foreign or online earnings are tax-free. Healthcare is top-tier and affordable. Real estate is cheaper than Kingston. And culturally, Panama understands Jamaicans. Many canal builders were Caribbean, and that respect still exists today. When Panama gives Jamaicans 6 months, it's sending a message. You're welcome here. That's why Panama isn't just a destination, it's a launch pad.
As you heard, ladies and gentlemen, it's a beautiful thing. There's some countries that you can use your Jamaican passport to visit without a visa. And as you heard it there, it is amazing. So there's a lot of opportunities outside of the main first world countries. So check them out. You know, do your own due diligence and check those out. I want to also pause here to recognize Marcia Griffiths. She was given she joined the class of 2025 as an honorary graduate at the University of the West Indies. And I wanted to share that with you because it's a remarkable achievement that goes to show you that it's never too late to achieve your goals. And I wanted to bring that to you. So let's check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Marcia Griffiths, honorary graduate of the University of the West Indies, class of 2025. Here we go. Let's check that out.
Can't say I never graduate. Yes, there's a land that I have heard about so far across the sea. Can I hear you? There's a land that I have so far. What a beautiful harmony coming from the left. Oh, the choir, yeah. I am truly thankful for the vision I never had, 1964, to be standing here in the University of the West Indies, receiving this. I am truly, honestly thankful that God has preserved me, that I could be here 61 years after starting out as a young girl. This was a journey that I started out, no vision of what was to be, but God had a plan for me. When I started working with Bob Marley, I realized that the music was not just entertainment. It was something much deeper. It was a responsibility that we had as singers and players of instrument that God calls upon. It's a responsibility on your shoulder, what you are sending out in the world to mankind. Because if it's not teaching, educating, uplifting mankind, or uniting the world, then you'll just fall by the wayside. I'll take this time out to congratulate all the graduates of 2025 today. Yeah, give them a hand. And a message from me to the graduates. This is not the end. This is just the beginning for you all. And I know you're all talented. And each and every one of you, I might not be around to see what the end is like, but trust me, this is a beginning for you. Just go for it and claim everything that you ever dreamed of. Because I'm here standing as a living evidence of what you can accomplish. This is the beginning of a new life for you. This is the beginning. Let's keep the fire burning. Your turn. To have you on my dreamland would be like heaven. Oh, my soul.
Goodness gracious me. It's a remarkable achievement. And those students were privileged to have Marcia Griffiths there talking to them and motivating them, moving them into the future, into a bright future. And we say hats off to Marcia Griffiths and the University of the West Indies for undertaking such a beautiful gesture. It's a beautiful thing. And we say congratulations again. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Goodness gracious me. So, also want to move into some Jamaica sports. The Clayton twins. What happened? They were not so much successful recently, but that does not. They had a good showing. So let's check it out for a couple of seconds here and see what happened. So let's bring that to the stage. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
To the actual finals, and so said, so done. But before we get into the finals, we have to talk about the Heats then, because the Heat, oh my God, Janelle Smith, I was like, yes, come through. I was absolutely.
And Janelle Smith is also Jamaican. So we have some rich athletes for the future. So check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
Ecstatic watching her execution. I thought to myself, well, dang, what is to come in the finals if you look like this in the heat? Now, she took the win in her heat. She ran a 7.17 seconds to take the win there, just 2/100 side of her personal best. But it's just how she looked. Her execution, absolutely flawless. The only thing I would say is that she kind of looked hesitant coming out of the blocks because and I kind of attribute that to probably the fact that there was a false start, right before her race went off. But still, excellent execution. She eased down through the line, and I thought to myself, wow, I love when an athlete just looks beautiful technically, and she looked absolutely beautiful. So I knew she was coming big in the finals. Actually, I was thinking to myself, so what did Twin the Macaroni for so she look? You know what I mean? That's absolutely my thought, or that was my thought, watching Janelle Smith in the heats. But in the finals, if you thought that the twins would have come in and stole the show from Janelle Smith, you had another thing coming, because look here, she turned up in the finals and she took the win again. I was like, oh my gosh, talk about coming in and upsetting the field, upsetting the apple chart. All the commentator could go on and on about was the twins. I do believe even in the finals, we didn't even get a Janelle Smith introduction in the finals from the commentary feed because he was busy talking about the twins. You know what I mean? So boo-hoo to you, Mr. Commentator. Please focus on all the athletes in the field, because really and truly.
And that's absolutely true. But Miss Smith came through for Jamaica, and the twins also they placed, but they have a long way to go. So it's the season is not even halfway yet. Ladies and gentlemen, also Kishane Thompson didn't have a successful run, but we want to touch on it. He had a magnificent run just the same, but it's the 60 meter. So it's, as I said, it's the beginning of the season. So a lot is yet to come. So let's check this out. He had a marvelous showing, and here we go.
So here we are. They all get away quickly. Kishane Thompson trying to lead. Toby Smith came late in the heat. Oh, it's Clave. Clave does exactly what he did in the heat.
So as you can see, at 60 meters, it was very, very competitive. So hats off to all our Jamaican athletes. It's a beautiful thing. They did a marvelous job. It's a long way to go. So this is just a test of the waters at this point. And we want to bring in some Jamaican community news. These news of losses of some very important people in the Jamaican community. And I want to share that with you. So we lost Dr. Kelvin Moulton. Dr. Kelvin Moulton, he was living in Texas as a family member of mine. And he passed away on January 5th. The funeral service will be announced. I think it's out, but I haven't got the updated information. But he'll be buried in Texas. That's my family member, and he passed away. Condolences to the our entire family as we pray for the soul and the immediate family of Dr. Kelvin Moulton. So he passed away, ladies and gentlemen. It's a sad, sad event. Also, we lost Stephen Cat Core of Third World. That was a big deal. A Jamaican musical icon, and he passed away. So let's listen to this for a moment and get a little background on who Stephen Core is. So here we go.
Stephen Cat Core, co-founder of legendary reggae band Third World and one of Jamaica's most respected musicians, has died. The iconic guitarist passed away suddenly on Sunday evening, according to a statement from his publicist. He was 69. Core was one of the early members of Inner Circle before leaving to start Third World with keyboardist Ibo Cooper. Third World's pioneering fusion of reggae, soul, funk, pop, and rock helped shape the reggae fusion sound and propel Jamaican music onto the global stage. The band achieved international acclaim with enduring classics such as Now That We've Found Love, 96 Degrees in the Shade, and Try Ja Love, becoming one of Jamaica's longest running and most successful bands. Core, who is celebrated for his exceptional musicianship, compositional brilliance, and deep musical knowledge, was awarded the Order of Distinction by the government of Jamaica in recognition of his outstanding contribution to Jamaican culture and the creative arts.
There's a land that I have heard about so far across the sea. There's a land that I heard of.
And these were the early days of Stephen Cat Core. It was a beautiful thing. So continue to listen, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
The sea.
Stephen Cat Core will be truly missed, a treasure of Jamaica that has passed away. And we also have a brother that he's a former Jamaica Defense Force soldier. He was a part of Intake 56. That's my intake, and he's a close friend of mine. He passed away. That's Michael Crooks, and the funeral arrangements will be announced soon. And we say condolences to the family of Michael Crooks, and our entire JDF family mourns his loss. So also for Stephen Cat Core and the Third World and the reggae industry and the entire Jamaican diaspora, we also mourn Stephen Core and Kelvin Moulton. We also have a brother from Alligator Pond who passed away. He was well known in the area. His name is Bolo, and he will be truly, truly missed. He helped a lot of people. He lost his legs, and he lost his battle against his ailment. And his family, we say condolences to the family. And, the arrangements are there on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. You can check it out. Please, if you're in Jamaica, please attend the funeral and give the family support. It's going to be in Alligator Pond at the Seventh-day Adventist Church on February 15th. The setup and so on will be on February 13th at his residence in Alligator Pond. We say condolences to the family and friends, and the entire Jamaican diaspora mourns the loss of Bolo, aka Bolo Stevie. So, ladies and gentlemen, his grave digging is gonna be in 2 days. That's January 25th. So, if you're in Alligator Pond, you can attend and give some support there as well. So, we've lost a really, really good soldier, a brother from the community of Alligator Pond. And on another note, we have also information that this police officer was charged for murder for murdering Donald Lee Donaldson. I don't know if you you got that information, but we've got it here. So it is official. He's been charged for murdering Donald Lee Donaldson. So here we go. Check it out. It's here in the Jamaica Gleaner, and it states here that he has been charged for the murder, and that the family should be resting a little bit more, a little bit better, knowing that some justice is served. So, ladies and gentlemen, also on another note, we want to also talk about the Alpart workers, the former Alpart workers who were disenfranchised from their pensions. They have to make a decision very, very soon. So if you remember, on January 9th, I was in Jamaica, and we had an address to the former Alpart workers. They have a decision to make, and I'm going to follow up on that. On Sunday, they've verbally made the commitment to move forward, to bring the case forward, because hundreds of workers have been disenfranchised. They have not been receiving their pensions for some reason. There was some discrepancy, and I want to share that with you briefly. This was a meeting in Hatfield, Manchester. That's in the Mandeville metro area, and this was what it looked like. Here we go.
It is their intention not to fund the plan as at May 31/09. The company has advised that it is shutting down in its operations at the said date, and has requested a waiver of 6 months. But the body of it is that Mr. McKay said the company will stop funding the plan. This is it, with all Alpha letter logo on it, and Mr. McKay name, and his signed today, Executive Director, Financial Service Commission, FSC. Okay? Yes. And this is also the letter from this annual pension statement from an employee who money was on his pensions, deferred pension balance in 06. And in 07, despite Mr. McKay said the money goes to Sadikor. Sadikor never said none. 07, 08, 09. Mr. McKay never say why. He was chairman of the two illegal, unconstitutional bogus board of trustees, which he imposed himself on. It may sound funny, because he inserted people on the board. Yes, one more. Let I get something legal happening. Yeah, man. He used that board, Alpart lawyer, to send, to send information to FSC that Peter Atkinson and Sardison were duly elected and eligible to work as member of the Alpart only board of trustees. He used two bogus names and send it to FSC. Okay? Peter Atkinson, no, don't let Peter yet, because Peter is Peter. Sadison was with us. He could not represent us. I have a letter from the public defender that states that Sadison could not defend us or represent us at the time of enclosure. I have a letter in my position from the public defender. Let us touch Peter Atkins now. Peter was all on the board by Robert McKay illegally without his knowledge and consent in relation to the legality of Jamaica Upholds Pension Act, Section 35. So, Robert McKay, in his desire to swindle, he used extortion by means, devious means. Coerce Peter, use services on a board that would make it illegal. I'm going to tell you, I say Peter, it is not good. After he placed Peter on the board, Peter wrote in a sworn statement stamped by JP that he was not able to be on the board to represent any of us. Stamped by JP. Robert placed him illegally on the board. So that what? So it made Robert board illegal.
As you hear, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of discrepancies that happen, and this case is just beginning. And we're gonna be talking with the former members of the Alpart Orly workers staff, employees, and we'll be talking about that in the background. You'll get some news in subsequent podcasts, but this is just beginning. So, ladies and gentlemen, also we're going to talk about Jack Sauer, about his awards. We're putting that together. We're going to be talking to Jack Sauer this weekend. As you know, we were there with him in Jamaica at his studio in Kingston 11. I had Kingston 13, but he's on the border of Kingston 11 and Kingston 13. So that, that's just a correction. But this was part of the interview there in his studio. This is the third interview we've had with him. We're putting together to recognize Jack Sauer for his videography work and also his autography work in Jamaica from the early days of the Jamaica dance hall. He has a library and he should be recognized. We're also lobbying we're putting forward a lobby effort for the government of Jamaica to also recognize him. But we're moving forward as NARAM Promotions to recognize Jack Sauer, and we're putting together his award ceremony. So check this out, ladies and gentlemen. This was on January, I think, 11th, when we sat with Jack Sauer. Check this out. Early days, there was not a lot of cameras out there, like on cell phones and, all around, like on houses and so on. So you, as a audiographer, you preserve the audio of the dance hall, which was a social scene for the community.
Yeah.
To come together. And you stepped up from there to videography.
Yeah.
Where you put a face and a sound to not only the people of the community, but you also put the artists and the sound systems and so on, and also the promoters.
Yeah.
On the mainstream. So you're like the CNN back then.
Back then, the CNN.
Once you turn on that video light, you allow people to see into this world.
And in the next world.
And into the next. Because now you have a catalog that spans the test of time. And this now is not about back then. It's relevant now.
No.
Because others can now see their families around Jamaica.
And around the world.
and they can say, that's grandpa, that's uncle, that's my sister or my brother.
See what's in.
You know what I mean? So it is a treasure chest. And you are the king of this world. And this is why I'm advocating also for Sir Jack Sower. And I would like to walk him down that red carpet in California to collect his award for his work. And we're not going to stop until we get it, because the dance hall was the breaking ground of the new era in the world of entertainment. And he's got that library. So this is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. And I traveled from the United States to here for a reason, because this is history. And I'm saying, my brother, from over the years, I shake his hand, because over the years, he has stand predominant, and he has also preserved that work. And with his partner, and our help, and you can help also right there in the diaspora and around the world to add a little to help him, because I'm sitting in his studio. It's a great studio, but it needs your help as well. And that's absolutely sure. Ladies and gentlemen, check him out on YouTube, Jack Sower Archives. You can check him out, and you can reach out to him and give any help you can to assist him to continue his work. We're loading up his awards ceremony, so we're putting that together, and we're going to tie that down. And just like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell, and you know when we're coming on live, and you will get the information that you need so you can attend that award ceremony for Jack Sower. It's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. We say hats off to Jack Sower. I'm telling you. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Oh yeah, big up to Jack Sower. Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we come into the eve of the twilight of this show, I wanted to share a couple of events. One in New Jersey, that if you're in New Jersey, please attend this. This is a gentleman, we call him Wally, from the BYG Big Yard crew in New Jersey, and they hail. The family hails from Kingston in the Jungle, Rima area. And Wally is putting on his birthday celebration February 20th. The venue will be announced. Just keep looking at, like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell, and closer to the date, I'll give you the location. But Wally is also Mama Rose's grandson. That's Mama Rose, from Jungle Side, Rona Rima, that's so, Rona so. Yeah, so a big deal. Mama Rose's grandson, and that's Josephine's son. Big up to Wally. This celebration is going to be off the chain. They always have a good party, and it's always clean and secure. So big up to Wally. That's going to be a big, big deal in New Jersey, United States. So this is a big, big deal. Check him out. It's going to be awesome. We also have Andrew British is sent out his poster early for the signature his signature event every year. I'm telling you, this is amazing. He's early, and I wanted to share that with you. This is going to be in Europe. This is in London, and this is going to be a big, big deal, ladies and gentlemen, in London. Every year it's big. So let me share that with you, and we can check this out. If you're in England, you can check it out. Let me remove the banner so you can see a lot more. Here we go. So this is the Andrew British Big Birthday Virgo Bash every year. This goes on, and it's going to be hosted by Princess Britannia, and it's the T-shirt and netball skirt edition for the girls. So bank holiday Saturday 29th August 2026 at a venue to be announced. Admission is £24.99. So that's, it's very affordable. So this is going to be a big deal. The Virgo Bash is now a brand because it's been going on for so many years. It's now a brand on the British dancehall reggae scene. So it happens every year around in August. And Andrew British, we serve together. So big up to Andrew British. That's a big deal. Oh, yeah. So check him out. Andrew British, big up yourself every time. Yeah, he says salute. Big up to Andrew British. It's going to be a big deal. August 29th, 2026 is a Saturday. It's a bank holiday in England. So it's gonna, if you're in England during that time, check it out. You will not be disappointed. It's always fun to be there. So big up to Andrew British. That's a big deal. So also, if you're in South Central Jamaica, please visit the Mystic Inn. Check out the Mystic Inn. I'm just gonna name a few places that it makes you gotta be there. Gotta check it out. It's a beautiful venue. I'm gonna put the pictures up here so you can see it. If you're in Jamaica, check out the Mystic Inn. It's in Sear District in Manchester. Just check it out, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be it's always amazing to be there. If you heard about another place called the Top Rock Bar and Grill in Prospect District in Manchester, it is amazing. Also, you have the numbers in front of you. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing to be there, and you will not be disappointed going there as well. So, and also if you're in Downs District, Manchester, check out Bowles Fish Stop and Bowles Cricket Oval in Downs District. It's a great place to be. And also you got to check out our girl in Sear District, Manchester. That's Misha. You got to check her out at the right spot. Misha's right spot is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Let me put a picture up here so you won't miss it. It's along the main road. Misha's Right Spot Bar is amazing, so check her out. She has an amazing spot there. And you also got to check out Crazy Mondays. Crazy Mondays is at Ian's Lawn in New Forest District in Manchester. I don't have a picture to put up there with it, but check it out every Monday. Crazy Mondays is always a beautiful fun for you and your friends and family. You want to go early or go late, it's always hopping on a Monday. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the closing of the show, I want to say always pray going out and also pray coming in. And always remember, God is in control. It's what I'm saying. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell. And remember, always remember, share. Send the word on. The least you can do, if you want to donate to the show, please do. It's always good for the show to continue this family-friendly show. There's ways you can donate. Just look down below, you can see that. So we say please like, share, subscribe, comment, click that notification bell, ladies and gentlemen, to keep this family-friendly show alive. And also, we want to say to you that we'll see you tomorrow at Friday Fusions. Friday Fusion. Always remember to check out DJ Asher D. That's my nephew in with with it on his radio program tomorrow. I'm going to put a link to that in the next. You'll just like, share, subscribe, comment. You'll see the link, and just remember to check out Ashley Radio, Passion Radio, UK.com. So it's Passion Radio with Ashley. I think it is. It's going to be Eastern time, about 1 or 2 o'clock thereabout. But I'll put the link up so you can get the timing right. But he's doing a lot of good stuff there in England, and he's burning up the airwaves. So if you want to hear some real good reggae music and some, he goes through a lot of genres. So check out DJ Ashley. I think I have a picture of that image. Let me see if I have it queued up. That's DJ Ashley. Let's see if I've got his picture up. Nope, I haven't got it ready, but I'll have it tomorrow. And also, you gotta check out Jackal's tiling. He has first world equipment that he does marble tiles in Jamaica. You can check him out. There's a number at the bottom there. We'll talk about that more tomorrow as well. And we will be elaborating on his work tomorrow. So check out Jackal's marble tiling and so on. He has the business down there in Jamaica. Big up to Jackal every time. It's a beautiful thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we close the show, we say thank you very much for being here. And please like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell. We're going to close the show with another closing anthem. And let's get to it. I'm going to share that with you. Then we're going to close the show. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, with the closing anthem. We're going to check that out right now. Let's share this with you. And it's a beautiful thing. So here we go.
I've been the same since 10
let's start that again, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Kiss my ass if you don't like me. I got everything that I need. Got my boots stained red with clay. Built this life my own damn way. I don't break, I don't fold. I've been the same since 10 years old. Working hard, don't ask for favors. Ain't got time for weak behavior. I'm built from blood, sweat,
Goodness gracious me.
thunder, wind, and rain. Stand my ground, don't
Thank you for being here at RAMP Promotions Radio podcast show.
much for what I earned. Every scar's another turn. Ain't afraid of what might be. You can kiss my ass
Goodness
if
gracious.
you don't like me.
I tell you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. And we say God bless you. And always keep the faith, because we're here for you. And we say like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell. We're out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. RAMP Promotions is at you.